Okay, let's unpack this. I want to start today's deep dive with a bit of a mental exercise.
All right, I'm ready.
So it's a visualization. If you're commuting right now, or maybe at the gym, just stay with me and keep your eyes open, obviously. But I want you to picture the concept of your home.
Like the physical house.
Yeah, the physical house.
Yeah.
The house you grew up in, or maybe the house you're living in right now. What is it made of? Try to really zoom in on the actual materials.
Well, statistically speaking, if we're talking about North America, it's going to be wood, 2x4s, drywall, fiberglass, insulation, maybe some asphalt shingles on the roof.
Right, exactly. Wood and drywall. And how does that house feel to manage? Like, when you think about the lifespan of that structure,
Mm.
what emotion comes up for you?
Honestly, it feels like a liability. Things break, roofs leak, you literally can't see behind the wall, so you never know if there's a pipe slowly dripping or a mouse nesting in the insulation until it's just way too late.
It's a constant battle.
It is. You're constantly fighting entropy, and usually entropy is winning. It's basically a slow state of decay that you are paying a massive mortgage to inhabit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to take that image, that static, decaying wooden box, and totally delete it. Just completely wipe it from your mind.
Okay, consider it gone.
Instead, I want you to imagine a stack, not a traditional building, but a stack of high-performance infrastructure. Imagine a structure that honestly has way more in common with a piece of industrial machinery or a Tesla Cybertruck than it does with a suburban colonial.
So we're really talking about a machine for living.
We are. And here's the detail that is going to sound totally fake, but I promise you it is right there in the documents we're analyzing today.
Yeah, on me.
Imagine that when this house gets delivered to your plot of land, it comes in massive boxes. And inside one of those boxes, along with the steel beams and the wall panels, is a crane,
A literal crane.
a literal free crane. And you don't send it back when you're done building. It is yours. You keep it forever.
I have to say that single detail, the free crane, is probably the most disruptive part of everything we're looking at today. It just completely changes the entire psychology of homeownership.
It really does.
It shifts that dynamic from you being a passive consumer to an active operator.
Today, we are doing a deep dive into a document that honestly feels like it fell through a wormhole from some very pragmatic, slightly cyberpunk future. We are analyzing the pitch deck and the project overview for a concept called YHauz 2.0.
And just to be totally clear for everyone listening, this isn't some glossy brochure you'd pick up at a Sunday open house.
No, not at all.
The source material we have today is a highly detailed pitch deck aimed at a very serious, high-level audience. We're talking about prospective buyers, sure, but also major investors, venture capitalists, and technology and product partners. It's this wild combination of a B2B and B2C pitch all in one document.
So what's the actual mission here? Because reading through these slides, and they are dense slides, it feels enormous. They aren't just trying to sell a few prefab units. They are literally trying to change the entire game.
The core concept here, the absolute headline, is what they call the sovereign household.
The sovereign household.
Right. The mission isn't just to put a roof over your head. It's to transition housing from a static product, something you just buy and sit in, to a dynamic, resilient infrastructure stack. The deck specifically calls it a new infrastructure stack for next-generation social and technology society.
I have to say, when I first read the term sovereign household and then saw bullet points talking about nano infrastructure and owner self-assembly, I got a serious cyberpunk vibe.
Yeah, it's very sci-fi.
It feels very independent, almost rebellious, but in a highly engineered, very structured way.
It is a massive paradigm shift, and I think that's exactly what makes this pitch deck so fascinating for those tech and product partners. We spent the last century building houses roughly the exact same way.
So it's framing on-site labor.
Exactly, and total dependence on the local utility grid. YHauz 2.0 is proposing a complete move away from that factory model towards something hyper-autonomous.
It is a lot to take in. So to keep us totally on track, we have broken this deep dive into 4 distinct parts. First, we are going to look at the construction method itself. That means the no factory concept and that free crane I mentioned earlier. We really need to understand the physics of how this thing comes together.
Then we'll move to the technology stack. That covers the off-grid systems, the nano infrastructure they talk about, and how this house physically integrates with your vehicle.
Which is mind-blowing on its own.
Yeah.
Part 3 is the business model, because remember, this is a pitch to investors. They are framing the house as a product service, which is a term we almost exclusively hear in software, not real estate.
And finally, we will look at the macro vision. Why do the founders think this specific type of house is absolutely necessary for global U.S. competitiveness?
So buckle up. We are building a house today, or rather we are assembling one.
Let's jump right into it.
Part 1, the construction paradigm. The very first thing that jumped off the page at me in this source material was this bold phrase, no factory needed.
It's a huge claim, especially in today's market.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because usually when we talk about the future of housing, we're talking about modular homes. We talk about these massive billion-dollar factories churning out living room units like their Toyota Camrys and then shipping them down the highway. But YHauz explicitly says no factory needed. What does that actually mean in practice?
It is a really critical distinction to make. In the world of prefab housing, you usually have this ongoing battle between modular versus component construction.
So break that down for us.
So modular is what you just described. Building a whole room, a module, in a massive factory. It has the walls, the floor, the ceiling, maybe even the light fixtures and plumbing already installed. Then you put that giant box on a truck and crane it into place on site.
Which sounds incredibly efficient on paper.
It is efficient for the speed of the actual build, but the
Yeah.
logistics of getting it there are a total nightmare.
Because of the size.
Because you are shipping air. Think about a finished living room module. It is mostly just empty space. You are paying exorbitant freight costs to ship a box of air down the highway. It requires wide load permits, specialized trucking routes, and of course those massive centralized factories that cost a fortune to build and maintain.
Right. And if that one factory goes down or there's a labor strike,